friends, in the middle of September, we have bow season for deer hunting, and I want to make a ground blind. So today I'm going to start working on my ground blind so I can get it in the woods and let the deer get used to it. It's going to consist of 2x4 construction, and I think I'm going to need to saw some cedars or skids. I have these rough cut 2x4s out of shortleaf pine that's native to Missouri and was cut off our land. I'm going to use these to build the floor. That's what I'm doing today. It's going to be 5x5 with a 2x4 floor with OSB as the flooring. I'm going to get started on squaring up the ends, and then I need 2 5-footers for the outside. I got the 2 outer boards done. They're 5 feet long. Now I'm going to proceed to cutting the joists 4 inches less to make the 5 feet square. I pilot drilled for a 3.5-inch construction screw on the rim joist. I'm going to do the other one next. The reason I did this is because it's hard for me to work down on the ground. So this will be all laid out nice. The screws are ready to go in, and I just gotta get down there and do it. Gotta do one more side, and then I can put it all together. Got it all laid out on the floor. So what I did was I got 5 feet on these outer rim joists, and then 4 inches less for the joists themselves. I got pilot holes and 2 3.5-inch construction screws laid out and started in for each one. And then what I'm going to do now is, and oh, by the way, all the crowns are up. What I'm going to do now is just line up the centers of the joints of the joist to the center of the mark, and that's probably close enough for what I want to do. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 joists, split the middle, and then split that into middles so they're equally spaced. Just going to work my way down. Line up the center of the joist with the center mark. Go ahead and screw it together. There we go. Nice afternoon project. Got some OSB. Unfortunately, it's 5 feet, not 4 feet, so I'll have to figure out a way to get that on there. But that's when I'll square it up, and then I'll start making the walls. I had an old can of wood preservative, deck stain, that I decided since this pine was going to be close to the ground, I would roll on a pretty good coat on all the surfaces, and then before I put the OSB top down on it, I'll coat the underneath of that, so it should help keep it from rotting better than it would if it was just plain. Thought I'd give you an update on where I'm at on the deer blind. I decided to put 2 5-foot 2x4s on the bottom. That's what you're looking at. do a couple things for me. It'll act as joist hangers, so the 5-foot joist will be supported across the span, at the ends of the span rather, and then it'll help tying it all together, and plus it'll give me something to lag bolt down through for the skids, and it'll set it off the ground another 2 inches. It's all sealed up. What I need to do next is find something to act as the skids, which I haven't cut yet. Good morning, friends. Today I'm working on skids for the deer blind. I split the log in half with my Alaskan mill. Now I'm using my beam maker to trim them down to size. The way I use this beam maker is I lay out the center of the log, and then I lay out half to one direction and half the other direction. So I'm looking for a 6-inch beam, center of the log 3-inch one way, 3-inch the other on both ends. And then I put the 2x4, and I found that if I hold back 1 inch from the mark, that cuts pretty close to the mark. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this board's already screwed down, but if you can see it, my 3-inch mark is that arrow, and then I scaled back from that 1 inch and then screwed it down. And that's not probably for every cutter, but that's the way it works for mine. And then I just go to sawing. Good morning, friends. Just thought I'd give you a quick walk around of the foundation for the deer blind. So far, I got it all ready. I bolted, screwed the 2x4 to the bottom of the joists, and then I bolted that 2x4 to the skids with 1/4-inch lag bolts and some timber screws, thinking it should be strong enough. The only thing I'm not sure about, I also squared it up and put that brace underneath. That should help stabilize and keep it square when I put the plywood on. I cut the ramps on the front, but maybe I equally spaced it with the back, thinking maybe it should have been a little bit further back, but we'll see. I'm thinking I'm going to put another 2x4 or so across the front, so I'm not pulling on the skids at the end of the skids, but we'll see. The next thing is to do is build the walls, or put the floor on, build the walls, and I got to design all that yet. Till next time. Trevor and Lauren came down, brought Ellie. We're just nailing on the floor for the deer blind. I made it out of 2 4x8 sheets so I could get the seam to run right down the middle and add strength to it. Here it is with the floor on finally. Got a break from the rain this morning, enough time to get it cut out. Trevor helped me cut it out and nail it on. Next step is to get the chair and gauge how high the windows will be, and then I can build the walls. It should go pretty fast. So here's my idea. I got this old office chair that was thrown out by somebody, and it seems to be in pretty good shape. It doesn't squeak or anything, and it rotates or swivels, rotates. It's an office chair. You make it comfortable. So my thought is to use this chair to base the height of my windows. I got a little break from the weather. It's nice and cloudy this morning, 75 degrees and about 89,000% humidity, so sweating pretty good. There's what I got done so far. I started this morning framing the front wall. It'll be similar to the side walls. Working on the front wall, and I decided to build it in place because it seems like all this air-dried pine dried a little bit more or less, and the dimensions are not the same as store-bought 2x4s. So what I did was I put the bottom plate on, the sides, and then the top plate, and then I spaced these up the same as the sides, nailed them all in, and then I nailed this windowsill on, and then I laid out for equally spaced 2x4s. Since I'm not doing any sheet goods, the dimensions probably are not as important. Fall on 4-foot centers or 2-foot centers. That's where I'm at now. The only disadvantage, you have to toe nail with the nail gun, which makes it a lot better than toe nailing with the hammer and nail. This board must be bowed up a little, so I'm not tight on the bottom. So I think I'm going to maybe screw that one in. Hopefully it'll suck it down a little more. Not the best. Maybe I'll get a clamp, get it down so I can toe nail it on the bottom. Maybe that'll help. I think I'm gonna quit for the day. It's kind of hot. Looks like it might rain, thank God. Anyway, I got the front wall all framed in and complete, and I got the back wall with the door roughly framed. I might have to add some bracing or something, but it's roughly 28-inch door centered. So I think I'll be happy with that. It is going to open outwards. I made a lot of progress this morning. Stopped because it was getting really hot out when the sun came back out. What I did today was I worked on the double top plates, and I decided on a 112 pitch lean-to style roof. So what I did was I stacked 5 inches of 2x4s and a 1x4 on the top to make the beam, and then I cut the rafters and put birds' mouths in them and toenailed them all on. And I started with one of the purlins in the back, but I was too hot, so I stopped.